Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well on this Friday, Erev Shabbos Parshas VaYigash. In this week's Parsha, there are a number of incredible, emotional, dramatic meetings and encounters between people. Of course, it begins with the very beginning of the Parsha, VaYigash Yehuda, that Yehuda steps forward and approaches the Egyptian prince, who of course is Yosef, bravely so. And then after his monologue, Yosef is overcome and he reveals himself to the brothers, that Yosef presents himself to them. Yosef and the brothers are reunited. And then after the brothers go back to the land of Israel, inform their father, Yaakov, of this incredible news, Yaakov comes down with the family, and Yaakov and Yosef are reunited, meet once again after so many years apart, the beloved father and son. And the Torah describes that moment of the reunion, when they first lay eyes on each other, Yaakov and Yosef, in the following way. Vaye'esor Yosef merkavto. Yaakov had already reached where they would be living in Goshen. Yosef was living in the palace in Egypt proper, and Yosef, with his servants, gets his chariot ready, his royal chariot. He mounts it, and he travels Vaya'al Likras Yisrael Aviv Goshen, and he goes up to meet his father Israel in the land of Goshen. Vayera Elav, and he appears before him. Vayipol al tzavara vayefk al tzavara va'od, and he falls on his shoulder and cries excessively. Who falls on whose shoulder first? Who is crying? That's a little bit ambiguous, a little vague. It's such an incredible scene. There's so much going on. We can't exactly even see what's going on. But what is that phrase before the two words, Vayira Elav, and he appeared before him, he appeared to him? It's unnecessary. I should have said, and Yosef went, and he went to his father and hugged him and cried, etc. What exactly does that mean? Why is that necessary? Why does it include, and he appeared before him? So the classical Mefarshim understand that what that's trying to capture is there was a dramatic moment when suddenly Yosef appeared, when suddenly his father saw him. The Rak says it means that he saw him from afar, that they saw this big entourage coming, and so from a distance he could see people coming, he could see the royal chariots, but Yaakov could not make out any faces, and then suddenly it's getting closer and closer until, Yaakov from a distance, he sees his son Yosef. It's Yosef. Suddenly he appeared. The Sforno writes that no, he actually had gotten much closer. Yosef was the prince. Yosef was surrounded by an entourage, by servants, by everyone who was coming, accompanying the prince who was meeting his family. And so they got closer, and Yosef was in this entourage surrounded by people, and they couldn't see Yosef. And then suddenly, as the crowd was somewhat closer, suddenly in between two faces, Yaakov caught a glimpse of Yosef's face, and there he was, Vayera Elav, and Yosef appeared to him. He saw him. And finally, the Ramban suggests that actually no, Yosef got much closer to Yaakov before Yaakov recognized that face. He got incredibly close. Yosef was older now. As Rashi says elsewhere, he did not yet have a beard. Now he had a beard. He was dressed in royal Egyptian clothing in a way that Yaakov had never seen Yosef before. And the Ramban says that at this point, Yaakov was older. And as we see later in next week's Parsha, Yaakov's sight had begun to fail him. He couldn't see well. And so Yosef got very close. And Yaakov couldn't see well. He looked much different. He was in totally different clothing. He was in a different environment. And at first, he didn't recognize him. Either the face was somewhat of a blur because he couldn't see well, or he couldn't recognize the features. He didn't make him out. And then suddenly, when he was so close, right in front of his face, right before he falls on his shoulder and cries, suddenly, Vayera Elav, suddenly he could see him. And it was Yosef, the son that he loved. Three beautiful, imaginative, incredibly realistic, and very likely ways to imagine how this event happened. Three beautiful ways of studying the Torah and seeing it and making it come alive. Three different ways where there was, at first he could not see him, and then Vayera Elav, and then there's a dramatic moment when Yaakov makes out the face of his son. If we can take a lesson from this, we can suggest that we too should make sure that we make out the faces, that we see the people around us, that they don't just melt into the background or become underappreciated or assumed. We can't do good. We can't be the best people we can be unless we see the things around us, the situations, opportunities around us, the people around us. Make sure that we are taking notice. Make sure that we see the wonderful blessings that we have and thank Hashem for it, to see the opportunities to do mitzvahs and to do good. And most importantly, to make sure that the faces of the people around us, VaYigash, are seen by us, that they appear to us, that we really take note of who they are, of what they give to us, of what's going on with them, of how we could help them, how we can give to them. Again, we can't do good. We can't make our worlds better unless we see what is around us, unless we take note of what is around us, unless the people around us are seen by us, that their faces appear to us. So let us be inspired by this dramatic pasuk, by the beautiful interpretations of our Mefarshim, of VaYigash, to be just as excited the next time we see a loved one in our family, as excited as Yaakov was when he saw Yosef, to appreciate them, to know everything that they give to us, and to make sure that we give them accordingly. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.